lovely hearing the spring migrants back. The Phoebe's over here. Good morning and welcome back to the cabin. It's a beautiful day. A little bit cool, but it's going to be warming up. A little bit of rain, a little bit of sun, a little bit of cloud, a little bit of mix of everything. So today I'm here to do a little bit more work. Started work on some thinning trees yesterday for some of the trails, and just in areas of the cabin where the trees have been growing over the last 3 to 5 years that have really started to thicken up. And I want to open it up a little bit so we have a nice little forest there as things kind of truck along. So you guys know in my last cabin video I installed these solar lights for evening, like a little floodlight on the cabin here and at the shed. Let me tell you, they were wonderful. So what I'm going to do is just take you back to last night when I went out to see what they looked like for the first time. It's pitch dark and you can hear the spring peeper frogs outside. Love that sound. There's the cabin porch light. It is really bright. Oh, I don't have it set on too long, but just enough when you come up to the cabin. Boom, it turns on. I think it worked out really great. Illuminates all around here. That's perfect. Let's walk to the shed and see how that one works. Just coming up to the shed here. Oh, boom, there you go. Hey, these are great. Love it. So I'm really happy with them. I think it's gonna be awesome to have those. I have a light also at the wash house there, but it's a different kind of light, but still solar powered. So it's awesome. I just want to adjust a little bit on the one in the cabin here, the sensitivity. It's sensitive really close to the cabin, so I just have to kind of open up the little sensor there a little bit, open up the angle. And I want to stay on just a little bit longer than it does, because I did a little test where I walked from the shed to the cabin, and the shed light actually went to the cabin, and then it clicked off, and then I want the cabin light to kind of turn back on and stay on a little bit longer. So I'm going to adjust the angle on the sensor and maybe just tweak the length of time that the cabin light is on. So it'll be perfect. So I'll take you guys now to show you a bit of thinning that was done yesterday in the field. There's a little aspen grove just up here, and aspen, when they form these little groves, they're all like genetically similar trees, so it's pretty cool. It's like one giant organism. But they can form these very dense stands. So I want to clear it out a little bit. I want a nice little spot to sit, have a little bit of shade in the field here. So let's go check it out. Look at you being so well behaved. That's a good boy for coming to see me. Here's your fishy. Doing a little bit of drills yesterday, doing some trail clearing and thinning. I took off after a deer, and thankfully I had the tracker on, my new tracker, which we'll go into detail about that in another video. Yeah, he went off after a deer and wanted me to come along for the ride, and I was not happy with him at all. Thankfully I told him to stop, and after about 5 minutes he did stop. After giving me a near heart attack thinking he was going to actually get this deer. But anyways, so we've been working on a few little drills here at the cabin that, he's got to pay attention to me. And he can go off and have fun, but he's got to come back. And so right there when you saw was he just came back and laid down, and we're giving little treats for rewarding him for being close by. So it's always a work in progress. So here's a little stand in here, and you wouldn't know it, but this is actually dramatically thinned out. You can actually walk through this. There was just so many sticks per 5 feet or so. It was crazy. You couldn't really walk through here at all. You'll see there's a big pile over here. That's where I dragged off all the little trees here and kind of walk through here now, which is nice. Big brush pile right here. That'll, in no time that's going to rot down. This brush pile on the other side as well, because we ran out of spots to put it. So yeah, through here now you can kind of walk. Did some trimming of the little branches here. So it's actually really pretty in here. It's going to be really nice. Then here is sort of the natural stand where they all kind of came from. It's just been expanding out. So lots of work. Didn't film doing this part yesterday. But yeah, it's really neat. Some of you may be wondering how it went with the birch sap, and I didn't really get a lot of production this year. It's been above zero, more that's been below zero recently. The sap doesn't really flow when the maples are flowing, it sort of flows after. But even after, I'd say having 2 taps in this year, just my experimental, and even after, boiling it down, I got about a tablespoon of sap. It was a nice golden color. There's 3 different grades of the birch syrup. So, it was very tasty, but I think I have a mild allergy to birch because when I've been trying the, birch water, it was making my throat a little bit prickly. So moving forward, you know, it's very labor intensive. I mean, the flavor's great, but I might have a mild allergy to it. And I just am not getting the flow, especially in this spot, that I was expecting. So maybe we'll try again in the future, but for now I'll be putting all my energy and attention into the maple syrup production. Just heading back in the woods now. I'm going to do some maintenance here on some of the main trail systems that I have here at the cabin. It's been a while since they've been maintained, and every year they just get worse. So time to get things cleared out so I can enjoy walking down to the bay again. A few little pools of water. The frogs, as you heard in that little clip earlier in the video, were singing quite loudly. And yeah, no more snow in the woods. There's a little bit down by the bay, and I'll take you guys down there. But beginning of May and still melting out. Got to keep Royce back, get the chainsaw activated pretty soon. So I don't want him to have an accident. Got to trim that bit up right there. He sometimes can get right in your way when you're trying to do stuff, so just want to make sure he stays safe. So some of the stuff I'm clearing out, there's some trails leading up to our Maple Ridge. And in here you can see all these little striped maples. It was many years ago that they did really, really well. So you can see it's just super thick to getting to walk through a lot of these areas. So I'll just show you a little bit some of the work that was done yesterday. That Makita saw is great. Got that saw not this past Christmas, but the year before that. It took forever to get. Didn't get it till this time last year. And it's doing really, really well. I'm really pleased with it. All right, so this is the handiwork from yesterday. You can see all these little striped maples in here, and there's a nice little pathway through here. So this is going to be great to get back up to the Maple Ridge, to go through here like so. Last year I didn't get to it in time and everything leafed out, and I was literally crawling through the deer trails. Lots of deer up in here to the Maple Ridge. So this is going to be great. See how tall they're getting? I don't know if these are like 6 or 7 years old. But it's great. So I dragged off yesterday a lot of these little sticks. So a nice clear pathway through. Bay is down that way for a frame of reference. So that's great. The property is part of the Managed Forest Tax Incentive Program. So doing things like this, making trails, gives me a tax break on the property yearly taxes. So it's a 10-year program. We just passed the 5th year mark in that program. So another 5 more years to go. So these logs right here are being chopped up. Back here, want another entrance into the bay for canoeing. So these are the ones that Royce walked along as a baby. And they're beautiful cedar logs. They've been drying for a while, so we're just going to make kind of a bit of a boat rack out of these to go over there so we can get into the bay a little bit easier. Beautiful old cedar, look at that. Beautiful growth rings there, and smells great. Oh, I love that smell. And it's nice to have a little cedar swamp in this area too, so you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to grab cedar wood. So part of making a trail through this area, it's a low area. I want to make a bit of a corduroy road, a little path. Trail kind of goes usually this way, but it's really deep there. So I'm going to make a little trail around here. One, to protect the environment, and also to just make it a little easier to travel on this area. That's also part of the, the MIFTIP program, is just making trails and doing things to kind of help the environment and, not damaging things a bit more. Got some progress here. Got some birch, and the end cedar. It wouldn't be ideal if it was all cedar, but just kind of using some of the dead wood around here. Sure, it'll rot down, but at least it's in the interim. It's going to keep you from getting a soaker and kind of keep this environment a little bit nicer. Here's another low area, another way to do it. Just a tree down here, so just cut it up, bucket up there, and make little long poles so that it's easy to traverse this area. Making some good progress in here. This is one of the heaviest hit areas when it comes to wind. So this tree had fallen down across the path, so it's time to regain the trail here. So that's nice. Not very glamorous. And that's the last of it here on this trail. Let's go check out the bay. It's pretty interesting this time of year. And this is what the bay looks like before the water comes in for the spring. It's just a mud flat with a little bit of a current, little stream trickle at the back. Pretty amazing. Another couple weeks it'll fill right up. It's pretty neat looking at the bottom of the bay here. There's some freshwater mussel on the ground there. Lots of interesting, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Sort of a plant. Whoa, it's crazy. Here I am just on the edge of that little stream that trickles down to the bay. Standing on the bed of the bay here. Kind of just looks like grass, but there's lots of snails and mussels and lots of weeds. Here in the bed of the bay here, you can see some runs that go into the shoreline. Little beaver bank houses. There's a lot of little grooves there in the soil, the muck. So it's not active right now. Beavers were in here like a year or two ago, not anymore. It's one of their feed piles over there. They'll be back. Here's a little wee shell. It's really pretty. Little freshwater mussel or something, a little small guy. And of course, lots of snail shells. Boyce is enjoying the last little bit of ice out here. Not too much longer, it's going to be gone. The collar seems to be holding up well, even though he does like to roll in dirt and snow. Just back at camp, and look, the snakes are out. There's a garter snake right there. In frame. Oh, there he is. The little candy cane shaped piece of poop there is from a turkey. Turkeys are really in their little season right now, so the males are all fanned out in the field with their harem of ladies. So that's what that looks like. A favorite for Royce to roll in. Next part is actually clearing up some more of these white pines. You guys saw those in the overhead shot there. This is a naturally seeded white pine forest. It's about 9 years old. So, but they're growing really, really tightly together. So every year we have to take out some pines here. They're just way too tight together. Some of them are actually getting a bit of fungus, a bit of rot at the base. So we take out the sick ones first, obviously, and then other ones that are really tight together, we'll remove those. Some of the first insects are coming out. There's some mourning cloaks, and looks like a little tiny bee that's really cold. And here's one of the first woodland flowers that feed the insects. It's hepatica. Isn't that beautiful? Here's a beautiful white hepatica as well. It's a great day in the woods to see these beautiful ephemeral flowers. Well, thanks so much for joining me today for a little trail cleaning and cabin property maintenance. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.